So, today we're going to be talking about changing the strings on your guitar. You may just have a busted string that you need to replace, or you may have a complete set of strings that just sound really dead. So we're going to give you a few basic tips today on how to make your guitar sound its absolute best. Stay tuned. The first thing we're going to do is set out our tools. So we're going to need just a few basic tools for this. I'm going to start with a diagonal plier, which is good for cutting wires. Also have a string winder, and if you're a little skeptical about this tool, I was at first, and I changed my strings without it and became unskeptical really fast. It's under $5 usually, and these things will really come in handy. You'll find out why in just a little bit. Then also I have my tuner, which is going to just help us to get the guitar in tune once its strings are changed. And keep in mind that the strings do take some time to adjust, so it's going to go out of tune really fast. You'll end up tuning a whole bunch right after you change your strings. Totally okay. I'm also going to give you a couple tips on how to mitigate that process a little bit. The other thing that I have is two cloths here. Just one is just a soft wiping cloth, and the other one is just another soft cloth to make sure that I don't damage the finish of my guitar when I'm changing my strings. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing is the absolute most fun part. We're going to start by taking this soft cloth and we're going to put it right under all the strings. Now, if you just have a busted string that you're replacing, you can skip all of this part. But this is for if you're actually changing your set of strings. So we're going to actually take these diagonal pliers and we're going to have a little fun. We're going to go right over top and just cut right over top of our sound hole. Same process for electric strings. So having done that, this is going to be so much easier to take apart than it would if I was just trying to unwind each string individually. Now, a quick note, these are really, really sharp. I can't tell you how many times I've drawn blood with them over the years. So be very careful when you're doing that. We're going to go up here and we're just going to unwind gently as we need to. Just undo the string, and then we're going to make sure to put it to the side. Wind it up a little bit so it doesn't go spronging everywhere, and you're going to make like a little bird's nest with it. This is really important so that they don't go flopping everywhere. Also, notice that I kept some length on these parts because if you have little pieces, that's one thing that little ones can get their feet stuck on, ouch, or even big people as well. So we're going to just unwind all these strings one at a time. Don't even really have to do it in any specific order, but we just want to make sure that this free end that's flopping around we're controlling, so that way we're not going to hit ourselves in the eye with it unintentionally, right? You may even want to wear safety glasses for this, and I might have considered that, but I've done this a number of times, and I intend to be pretty safe with it. All right, so again, just making sure I continue that bird's nest. I don't want strings flopping around where I don't know where they are. Just assume they are dangerous. All right, so next one, just going to continue with that process. Notice I'm holding this kind of far away from my face, so that way these strings don't lash back at me unintentionally. Okay, so that's all the top part. Now we're going to go to the bottom part. Now, this is where this handy string winder comes in handy. So not only does it wind the strings at the end to save us time in tuning, but notice this little notch right there. That's actually going to be for going down to your pegs and gently working them out. You want to be really, really careful with this. And also make sure that you're lifting up slightly as you do it, not pushing down, because you can actually mess up your saddle by doing that. All right, I'm going to put all these pegs just right here together. Gently lifting up, kind of rocking motion back and forth. All right. Now, I'm going to just lift each of these right out. They should come right out. Make sure that you don't accidentally tip them back into the guitar. That would be a pain to get out. So, keeping the guitar flat. And notice I'm on a stable surface. I'm on a table, not on my lap or on the floor or something. The other bad thing about doing it on the floor is you can actually lose the pieces, and then again, we risk getting our feet stuck. So, now that I got everything disassembled, I'm going to go ahead and take that other soft cloth, and I'm just going to wipe down my fretboard. Now, a great idea, and I don't have any currently, is to take some mineral oil, and you can actually wipe down your fretboard and condition it with some mineral oil. It's a really great thing. I don't have it right now, and I was looking up to see if you could use any cooking oil for that I might have on hand, and it's really not recommended. So there's, first of all, they'll go rancid a lot faster, and so it's going to smell funny. Some of them are acidic, which would be really bad for your fretboard. So you want to make sure you get a mineral oil, which you should be able to get at the pharmacy. Now we're just going to go around, we're going to just clean that fretboard off. That's something we definitely want to do the best we can. All that kind of dirt and grime from playing a bunch is going to be just settled into there, and you just want to make sure you get that out as much as possible. All right, well, we are ready to go. So now we got everything wiped down, nice and clean to the best of our ability. Again, if you have some mineral oil, go ahead and just take that in there. Not mineral spirits, right? Mineral spirits is going to thin out the finish, dry out the neck of the guitar. Bad call. But mineral oil, which you can find at the pharmacy, good call. All right, so now that we've covered that, let's go ahead and move on to putting in our new strings. And one thing I should have mentioned at the beginning is in order to change strings, you also have to have your new set of strings. So right here I have just a medium gauge SIT strings, which are made right here in Ohio. So make sure to support these guys if you want to do something that's crafted in the USA and local if you're an Ohio native. So we're going to open it up. Now, where you start is a little bit up to you. I prefer to start in the middle and then go outward. So I'm going to actually start with my 4th string D and go from there. I'll take it out of the package, put the package up here, out of my way. Again, unwinding away from my face, gently and keeping control of the strings, because you're going to see it's going to pop a little bit. And a lot of times they come 2 to a pack. So this is both my D string and my 1st string E. So I need to make sure that that E string is out of the way. All right, I'm going to just put it up here for now. And that way it's out of the way, not going to hit me. And I'm going to take my 4th string D, I'm going to put it in the 1, 2, 3, 4th hole and just stretch it up. Now I'll go ahead and insert the peg. Any of the pegs will do, they're not specific. And give it a gentle pressure downward. Press it down, and then we're going to run it up to here. Now, the other thing you can do is at the top, bend it where it's going to go into the actual winding peg. So now, I want to make sure that I'm counting correctly so I don't wind this on the wrong place. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going up to my 4th peg, corresponding to the 4th string. I'm going to thread the string through and find out where exactly it's going to land. Then I'm going to bend it slightly. All right? So I'll give it a little bend. That'll crimp it and just hold it into place. And I want to cut off the excess length. All right? So basically what some people do is they just go to the top of the headstock and just give it a little clip right there. And I just want to make sure there's a little bit of length so it doesn't slip out. So that would be just fine. I'm going to just clip it right at the top of that headstock there and put the excess over with my scrap pile where my bird's nest was, right? All right, now we're going to go ahead and wind the string. So I'm going to wind it. And I'm also going to point that excess up toward the top so it's not scratching my headstock as I go. Now, a cool idea is now take your string winder and just give it a gentle wind. And you're going to find it starting to come into tune. Make sure that that peg stays pressed down. So you might have to play with it a little bit when you do that. There we go. Okay. And sometimes right now it helps just to wind it by hand as well. Okay. Now I can lightly tune it from here. I'm going to just take out my tuner and I'm just going to lightly tune it. I'm not going to try to get it perfect because it's going to come out as soon as I put other strings in anyway. Right now it's at C. Now it's up at D. Now check this out. As soon as I stretch it, it's going to go out again. So I'll just do that a couple of times to get it roughly in tune. Stretch it again. All right, good enough for now. Now we're going to go on to the next string. So this time I will take my G string, 3rd string, and again, I'm going to open the package. I'm going to separate the 2 strings, keeping them away from my face. And I'm going to undo it there. Now this one particularly also comes with the 6th string E. So now I have my 1st and 6th string E strings, right? And now I'm going to take my 3rd string, G, put it into the 3rd hole, insert the peg, and start to stretch it out. I'll go up to the top, and again I'm going to crimp it right around that place where it inserts into the tuning peg. So we'll put it in, we'll crimp it up, get it out of our way. Now sometimes people also like to wind one of these by hand, which is fine. If you want to get it started that way, totally cool. Just make sure you have a little bit of slack to wind the string because otherwise you may end up with it too short and it's going to pull out. All right, so now I'll go ahead and take my trusty winder, and I like to make sure that the strings are always lined up so that the long part of the string is to the inside of the headstock. I'll explain that a little bit. All right, so just starting to get that tune. Make sure it goes into the correct space. And then you're going to notice that eventually it's going to start to tune up. Oh, getting there. And again, I'll take my tuner here. Right now we're at F sharp. There's G. And now I'm going to stretch it. And all that's going to just go to seed. Give it a nice little stretch all the way up and down the length. See, by pre-stretching the strings like this, it makes them less likely to go out of tune later. They'll still have some. right, we're roughly at G now, and we're gonna go on to the next string. So I'll go ahead and clip this off right close to the tuning peg itself. Quick note, if you find that the peg is popping up as you pull on the string, chances are it's on the bottom of the peg, and you actually want it to be sandwiched kind of like this. So the actual knob at the bottom of the string is not going to go underneath the peg. That would actually pull it out. So if you find that happening, back your string out just a little bit and reinsert the peg. Give it a little gentle pull as you push down on the peg. And as you pull and press, you'll find that happy place. All right, last one. Okay, the other thing I'm going to do is just take my diagonal pliers and gently press down to make sure none of these string ends are sticking up. I don't want to push down into the headstock and mar it, but just gently give it a little bit of pressure to point any of those string ends downward. Now, I just noticed that on my E, my high E, as I went to wind it, I realized that I must have had a little tunnel vision and actually put it on the peg the opposite direction. So in order to avoid any issues when I'm playing, I'm going to go ahead and fix that now. We're going to be close. Just pull on the strings again, make sure the neck is solid, make sure no pegs are going to pop out, and also just this last little bit of stretching just helps those strings get stretched out staying better. So I'm just running my fingers underneath each of those strings one last time. It could be a little bit, it's not abrupt, but it could be firmer than you might expect. All right, there we go. No, it's really now. Let's also go back to that again. There we have it, brand new strings on our guitar. Awesome. Well, I hope that was helpful for you. If you've enjoyed this video, please like it and share. And also, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to our notifications, ding that bell down there, and that way you'll get up-to-date information as we release new videos. Y'all have a fantastic day. Take care.